Hello fellow engineers, welcome to Engineer Station. This is the second video of the series Introduction to Arduino. The last video was about downloading and installing the Arduino IDE. Today we are going to connect the Arduino Uno to the PC and try to run some example code. Okay, let's start. First you connect the USB cable to the Arduino and then to your computer. As simple as that. If you do it for the first time, you have to wait some time for the operating system to install the drivers. After installing the drivers, you can open the Arduino IDE. First thing to do is to choose the correct Arduino board, the one that you're going to program. This is done by going to Tools, Board, and then choose the board you're going to program. In my case, it's the Arduino Uno. Secondly, you have to choose the COM port. In my case, is already checked. Okay, we're done with all the preparations. I know you're excited to see what can be done with this thing. I was, so let's keep going. Let's open the most basic example of code that still does something, the Blink example. Go to File, Examples, Basics, Blink. As you can see, there are a few lines of code. These lines are grey and they are not taken into account by the code compiler because they are comments made by the human who wrote this code. They are like transparent to the machine, it doesn't even read them. You can tell that they are comments by these slashes, or a slash and asterisk at the start and an asterisk and slash in the end. Or you can make one-line comments like this. I am making a comment. You may wonder why comments are needed if the machine doesn't even read them. Comments are used to help the programmer to understand the program if they try to change something later, so you can easily remember what each line of code does. Or if some other programmer gets to tweak the program and has no idea whatsoever what is going on in the code. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you that the programming language used in Arduino IDE is C++. The first thing to notice in the code is the setup function, here distinguished by the void setup line of code, and includes everything contained in the curly braces starting from here and ending here. The setup function runs only once at startup and it is used usually to get some parameters depending on your project and your wiring. As you can see, the Blink example makes a pin to be set in the output state. Last but not least is the loop function. It starts with the void loop line and includes everything contained in the curly braces as before. With one difference, it repeats forever. In fact, this is a place where you put all the code that will be continuously working. This is where the brain of your project is. This example makes an LED to go on and off. This is done by setting a high electric signal via the processor pin to the LED to make it go on and electric low signal to go off. Between these two signals there must be time delay, so as the human eye gets to notice the change in luminosity, otherwise it would turn on and off at the highest speed possible by the processor, or else you wouldn't be able to see it. Unless you are a cyborg who can cope with that fast changes. I don't think so. Anyway, this is done by the delay function. Here in the code, first the LED turns on with the digital write command. Then the machine waits for 1000 milliseconds, as you can see here in the delay. You can change that if you want, by the way. Then the LED turns off and waits for another 1000 milliseconds. And after that the function ends, but since this is a loop, it starts all over. Okay, here is a moment of truth. Let's run the sketch and see if it works. Press run on the top left corner of the Arduino IDE and the code gets loaded into the board. We are lucky because on all Arduino boards there is an onboard LED that is connected to pin 13. Here it is. If everything is done right, after loading there is a light blinking on the board, like this. We can play with the time delay numbers to achieve different blending rates. By writing some lines of code, we can change the behavior of a machine. This reminds me exactly why I wanted to become an automation engineer. The feeling of creating something that works is outstanding. Back to Arduino. You can find a lot of support on the Arduino website and the forum, but I would suggest to explore the Learning tab at their site and also checking the other examples. I will show you now where to find it. Type Arduino, click on the first site. Here is the Learning tab, and you can find some examples on this category. Tutorials. Okay, this is for today. Next time we will try to connect some external LEDs or even a servo motor. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.